Nice.
So
Nice.
you guys just give me a second to do the introduction, and then we'll get started from there.
Sounds good, brother.
All right. Everybody, we are all right.
Nailed it.
It's a new format, new show. Hey, everybody, this is the Unsigned Countdown podcast, and we are about to have a discussion with Josh and Brent from Nephilym. Nephilym.
Nephilim.
Hey, everybody, this is the Unsigned Countdown, and we're about to have a discussion with Josh and Brent from Nephilym about their new album right after this theme song. And we're back. I'm here with Josh and Brent from Nephilym, and we're here to talk about their new album. What's the album name, guys?
Red Sky Constellation.
Red Sky Constellation. It's beautiful. How'd you come up with that?
Just kind of came to me one day, man. I just thought it sounded cool. Really, I wish there was some. Josh has a really cool idea behind it.
Yeah.
That he said, well, this is what we should say when people ask. But but
You're not supposed to say that part. It kind of ruins the
oh,
Let me rephrase the question. Hey, Josh, what's the meaning behind the song, the album title?
Well, basically, when we look at our band and the way we sound and the dynamic between the heavy and kind of the melodic sound, I thought Red Sky, because when you think of Red Sky, you think, apocalyptic, you think dark, you think end of days. But when you think of constellation, you think of finding your way, using the stars, kind of like they used to. So to me, it's all about finding your way through the dark, so to speak. And that's kind of what the song Chase the Sun is about as well. So it fits the theme. But also, it was something cool that Brent thought of one day.
yeah.
I see.
Well, he said.
That's beautiful. So Josh is the introspective one, and Brent is the one that gives hand jobs.
I'm the one that listens to what Brent says and goes, okay.
Yeah.
So
This is
how
what
do we
you
phrase
really
it?
All right. I just wanted to get the word hand job out of there right away from the gate.
Oh, wow.
So there we go.
You need one? Hand up?
Well, you guys are paying me somehow, right?
Oh, yeah.
Get your hand jobs, yeah?
Whatever gets us out there, man.
Cool. Before we get started talking about the songs, why don't you guys tell us about the links? Where can we get your music?
You can get it a number of different places. Red Sky Constellation is on Amazon. It's on iTunes. It's on YouTube, of course. You can find it. What's some of the places they can stream it from, Josh?
It's on iHeartRadio.
Awesome.
I know it's on Xbox Music.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only ones I can think of right now. So it's Amazon, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Xbox Music, and I think there was one more. I just can't remember
Yeah.
because I'm
There's a
terrible
bunch
like
of
that. We just pour ourselves out everywhere, man. Just
Yeah.
just Google it. You'll find it, man.
Way to pimp the shit. That is Nephilym, right?
Correct.
That's right.
Right. I've spent a week trying to spell that just so I could get it right. And what does that mean? What is a Nephilim?
A Nephilim is, well, there are a couple of different, I guess, meanings to, depending on where you look, but our definition of it is sons of humans and angels. It's kind of an old school biblical term. Once again, it goes back to the dynamic of our sound,
Right.
heavy and light. So a lot of times back in the old days, Nephilim had either a really positive connotation, like they were watchers, they were guardians, or it had a very dark meaning, like the giants. And like a lot of people thought that the floods of the earth were designed to, wipe out the Nephilim. So basically, we thought it sounded cool, and it meant basically good and bad, light and dark. Which is, if you heard our music, there is very much a light and dark dynamic to it. It's heavy, it's melodic, there's acoustic, it's all over the place.
I
Yeah.
gotcha.
And Josh found this thing when it was just, I forgot where he found it at, but it said the men of old and the heroes of renown, and that always stuck with me when people ask what Nephilim means, So I just that's, you kind of get in music to of course you want to make it, and you want your music to speak to people and be bigger than just a garage band. So that always stuck with me when they told me this is what Nephilim means,
All right. I gotcha. Totally got it. And technically, the flood was created to wipe out the babies of the Nephilim and the humans.
Yeah, that's one of the theories is that
That's what it
they
says
were
in that book with all the words and stuff.
like I said, I mean, it's pretty nebulous. We're reaching back kind of. We're just kind of picking and choosing what we thought sounded cool, honestly, about it, and,
No, I
and what
love it.
what kind of represented our sound. Because if you've heard the music, we don't really have one specific genre. We kind of float across all different genres of rock and metal, and there's even acoustic. I mean, we love all kinds of music, so we
All
wanted a
right.
name that kind of represented all aspects of that, that tonal spectrum, so to speak.
The funny
And is
thing, do you want to know
oh,
what do you want to know what their runner-up name was for the band?
Oh, come on, man. Come on.
well, go ahead, but pause so I can edit it out.
you get you get all kinds of like awesome like, oh, well, this is what we think Nephilim means, blah blah blah, and then their runner-up was conjugal visit.
We never said that we were intelligent. We just said we picked it to sound cool.
We are pretty.
I'm guessing Brent's brother threw that one in the suggestion box.
Oh no, this is way before me.
Yeah.
What is that? 1999 time frame is when
Yeah, we're
Nephilim
old as
started?
shit. That was back when we were practicing in a storage shed, and we were back when we thought we were funny, which gladly we realized we weren't. So
You're
uh,
fucking
go a
hilarious,
different direction.
Josh. Well, I saw on your Facebook page it says Nephilim's been around for 10 years.
Yeah,
Easily,
probably
yeah.
more than that. Yeah,
Not to,
longer
not,
than that.
not to go off on a tangent. So does it need to be updated a little bit?
Oh yeah, for sure. I just don't know how to count, and I do a lot of editing. So thanks a lot for calling me out there, asshole.
We're just
Oh,
trying to let people
no,
know.
no problem,
We just
sweetheart.
I got 10 fingers.
honestly, we started playing clubs heavily starting 10 years ago. So that's right. I mean, we've been together, in different, iterations of Nephilim throughout, high school and stuff. But this version of Nephilim that really started playing clubs and writing together and recording albums has been together for 10 years. So technically that's accurate.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So before we get started with the music, let me just ask one more thing. I hear you have an opportunity to go on stage with Fear Factory. So what's that about?
Yeah, we got luckily this club we just played for the first time a few months ago, Ziggy's by the Sea in Wilmington, North Carolina. They're really one of the bigger clubs around here. They're kind of like a house of blues, an independent house of blues, if you will. And they posted that Fear Factor's coming, and I instantly emailed the booking agent, and I was like, Johnny, what? Is there any room? He's like, well, we're going to put a poll up so people can vote for what locals they'd like because they have room for one local. So I think we're in second place right now. So if your listeners could please just go on you can go to Ziggy's by the Sea Facebook, and if you look at their events, you'll see where it says Fear Factory, and just click on it. And in the comments, you'll see where it has a poll. So just click on Nephilim if you would.
Nice.
Please.
And what we can do is we can have you guys put the link in the YouTube stream later on, and for the podcast listeners, we'll just add that to the description portion of this podcast. So go ahead and click on that link and just vote yes. It's that easy. That's what we're here to do, is to support bands that support bands, and this is one of the ways we do it. So just help out. Otherwise, we're just going to go off air and quit doing this.
Yeah.
For only 10 cents a day, you can support a band.
And that's
In
one
the
thing.
arms
That's
of the angel.
that's one thing about our band too, is we've always been about. It's never been about us. It's always been about the scene. It's always been about, no band makes it by themselves. We've always been supportive of the other bands. Like right now, like Waking Terror, as we said earlier, those guys are amazing, and we love playing shows with them. We've always been about, supporting, our friends and our brothers and sisters in music, and not just, it's not about us. We've been doing this for a long time. It's about a scene, and a lot of people have lost sight of that where we're at now.
That's
And
a shame.
we're trying to keep it alive. That's why we really appreciate what you're doing, because this unsigned, if bands don't stick together, they're not going to make it. I mean, it is definitely, it's definitely a group effort, and the word scene means just that. It's a scene. It's not one band. So we're definitely trying to keep that alive.
That's
So we
awesome.
definitely will support, any bands, especially, Brent's into bands. Like we're all about supporting, other musicians and other bands. So like I said, I really appreciate this. And anyone that supports us, if you're in a band and you go and you vote for us, you can believe we'll reciprocate that love. Trust me.
I do trust you for some reason. Your voice is so soothing, so
That's right.
trustworthy.
Oh,
Do you know
yeah.
how many women have said that, and how many lawsuits are pending right
Whatever. They're pending.
Pending is the key word.
I have a tendency to settle out of court, if you know what I mean. I'm terrible.
Yeah, that they go missing. That's weird.
Whatever.
Cool. Well, why don't we start with, why don't you tell me about Chase the Sun? What is it about?
Well, it's kind of like how Josh was saying earlier. It's kind of, I mean, it's kind of like reflecting on where you're at now and how far you've gone with. Honestly, when I wrote it, I sat down and I was like, I really don't think I'm the most talented of guys, and I'm from a town with one stoplight. So me even being in Nephilim and me even being in a band is like unheard of around here. So like the chorus is like, just calm down, remember you've been more than you thought you'd be. So like it's just, it's like the times where I'm really stressed out, I'm like, God, I suck, you know, blah blah blah. I was like, I like have to step back, and I was like, man, I'm doing so much more than I thought I ever would, or anyone in this area would think someone like myself would ever do. So that's kind of what it's about. You know, it's kind of like trying to check yourself and realize what you've got and what you've accomplished.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I can say, like, personally, like, I didn't, I didn't write the lyrics, but personally, I was going through a very difficult time in my life when this song was written, especially the lyrics. So it has a very personal meaning to me because, I mean, I was in a very dark place not too long ago, like, not to get too much into it, but there was a lot of, hey, wake up and look around you, look what you have. Like, don't look at what you're missing. Look at what you have in front of you. Look at the friends. Look at your bandmates. Look at what we've created together. And that's one of the reasons that Chase the Sun has a very special meaning to me, because it actually speaks to me lyrically and personally. And it's amazing to be able to listen to a song that I helped create that speaks to me so much from just the lyrics that Brent wrote and that Mike wrote. So I really, really, really appreciate that song.
Nice. How do you collaborate on lyrics like that?
It is really different. If we haven't been doing it for so long, well, it's changed so much. At the beginning of Nephilim, and when we did our first two albums, it was Brent, you do your part, Mike, you do your part. We would kind of talk about a general idea, and then pray to God it would kind of work. Because, yeah, because like I was a fan of Nephilim before I joined. I was in a band called Dead by Dawn, and that was like my very first band. And I used to play shows with Nephilim all the time. And then when their original singer backed out, I was like, I got to try it. I was on their first CD, which was crazy. So technically, I've been on every Nephilim CD except for like the bootleg crap you guys did or whatever. But,
we don't talk about those things.
Yeah.
Bootleg crap. Way to support the album.
Yeah.
That's actually what it was called. It was called Bootleg
Yeah.
Crap.
Hey. And we'll be
but-
giving away copies of that after the show.
That's right. You can download it now on torrent. But now Mike and I are kind of. Mike has a different writing approach than I do. I kind of have like a creative diarrhea, I guess you could say. Like whenever
Sure.
I get into a song, it's out, it's coming out, and then I'll write like 3 or 4 versions of a song. Like Chase the Sun, he was talking about. I recorded a completely different chorus than what's on there now, and I just didn't like it. So I was like, hey guys, I'm gonna go back in and try this new thing, and now that's what we've got. But now Mike and I kind of talk about the idea. He writes his ideas down, and then I try to put them together, and then we thought, this is what I've got, and then he changes it. So we're really working together a lot better now. So I don't know if that's just because I don't know, because we're older now. I mean, I have no idea, but it's really cool. He respects what I do and what I bring, and I respect what he brings, and we kind of feed off each other.
Okay. So like more like a married couple.
Well, the
Yeah,
music
but-
always the music always comes first with us. Like we have a tendency to write the music first, and then these two will come in and they'll hear the music and they'll get a feel for like the energy of the actual song, and then Brent will kind of go and say, hey, I feel this about it, and this is what it makes me, this is what it evokes this emotion in me. And then Mike will do the same thing, and usually the great part about it is they're different emotions. Like Brent will hear one thing and feel one thing, and Mike will feel something different, and then they'll manage to like marry it together to where it works in like one theme. It's actually really impressive the way they do it. I don't know how they do it. It still impresses me to this day how they're able to be two different, hear completely different ideas in a song and a different emotion in the same song and put it together. And I mean, you'll hear it in the music when when Mike's part comes in. It's so raw and almost just so energetic, and then Brent, he brings it to the harmony and the melody, and there are two different levels of emotion in every song, and that's one of the things I really respect and appreciate about it.
Right. Is Mike the screamo?
Yeah, he's a screamer guy. Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought. Okay. And then
he also back up, and he sings harmonies too and stuff. So we kind of do, like, I guess I consider myself singer / screamer because I do have screaming parts, and then he's screamer / singer. So I guess is the way you can put it.
I gotcha. So Josh, I wanted to ask you about that. Is it just the guitar that makes the song? Is it the drummer that makes the beat? Is it the bassist that gets a riff? How does that start then?
Well,
how does the song start at birth?
The way it works is Bobby, the bass player, and I have been playing music together since we were like 14 years old.
Right.
So we have this creative dynamic that I've been in other bands and I've, done other projects, and it's never been anything like what Bobby and I have. So normally what happens is he and I will come up with just basically, a chord progression or an idea.
Right.
And then we all get together as a band, and it evolves. So Brett, our drummer, will come in and he has input, and he'll say, hey, I like this, but let's try it up like this. And, it literally snowballs, which is, impressive for writing, because a lot of bands will either have one person that writes all the music or they'll write in separate locations. But as far as we go, we're a live band. We write our songs to be, live songs, whereas a lot of bands will write songs with an ideal of being, oh, we'll do it like this in the studio. We're definitely a live band. So we write our songs with the thought process and idea of like how crazy, how energetic can this be live? And that's kind of how we have to have every member have their input from vocals to drums to bass to guitar all at one point. So we all collaboratively write the songs together. It may start with, hey, I had this idea for a chord, or my bass player would be like, hey, check this out, try this, and then it just evolves from there into an actual song, and almost in real time as a whole band. Not, it's not like one person does more than the other.
Okay.
But what he's saying is I totally do more than everybody else.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, okay, they're working their ass off. You come and write some lyrics and then sing a little bit.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, well, how about if we move on to Falling Statues then? Why don't you tell me how did that come about, Josh?
That song is just, we wanted a song that was, once again, like I said, we write our songs to be live, and we actually had a good friend of ours named Sean, who was in another band with us at the time, who helped us come up with that intro riff, and we kind of jammed it together, and then he ended up parting ways with the band, and we didn't really want to like lose the energy of that song, so we took that, and when Nephilym got back together, we kind of iterated on the riff, and we wanted a song that was just super high energy live, like a mosh pit song that would just that didn't slow down very much, that didn't lose the energy. So that's how Falling Statues came to be. That's, I think, one of our more fun live songs, one of our more fun mosh pit songs to play.
Awesome. How about in the podcast, we're going to play the song right here. And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk more about Falling Statues with Nephilym, Josh, and Brent right here on the Unsigned Countdown.
Woohoo!
So Sean had a big part of that then.
Yeah, Sean helped us. Sean is a really good friend of ours, and he was in a band with us at one point, and he's actually, I think, is Oxygen Thieves still together? I think they're still, yeah, the Oxygen Thieves is his band now. They're another Fable band they're amazing. They were one of our inspirations, like when we saw them live and how just they threw down so hard. We were like, hey, we want to be like those guys. So we actually jammed a few songs with Sean, and he helped us, he's very high energy like that, so he helped us come up with that intro riff, and we kind of built a song around that we thought was, more of a Nephilim style, but we just love that song live. It's one of our favorite songs live to play.
So would you call this song more of the standard Nephilim style then?
Well, that's hard. It's hard to pinpoint the Nephilim style. I think that the cool thing about the Red Sky Constellation EP is that there are 5 tracks on there, and there are 5 different genres of music in each track almost. So I think that, yeah, I think that it's a good balance of what Mike and Brent can do as vocalists. I think Falling
Sure.
Statues is definitely a great representation of how they work together.
Okay.
I think it definitely represents what we were in the beginning too, a lot, because we were more, let's pump out some really hard stuff and let's make people regret it tomorrow in the mosh pit. So that's kind of what this is, and so vocally and lyrically, it's really strange. It's kind of, when I thought about it, when I heard the music, I thought it Mike's part, because the choruses are such a pretty part. I was like, man, Mike has to be the hero in this. So it's kind of like Mike is representing a group of people, or quote unquote the people, rebelling against like a tyrant or a government that's oppressing them. And so Mike, as the 3 verses progress, because there's 3 verses in it, is like, if we unite in the beginning, it says when will we unite, and pretty much like there's no stopping us all. And I'm kind of like singing on behalf of the evil power when I'm saying like fair to say we've lost control, so like spend every moment connecting to ourselves, meaning I didn't pay attention to their needs. I just took and took and took and kind of how our country is in a way today. Our government, and in certain ways, they with the lobbyists and stuff like that, there's a lot of crooked politicians out there, and then they just really care about money over the people. So that's kind of what the song's about.
Nice.
We're not a political band by any
No,
means, but
no.
we can't ignore things like that. We can't pretend like they don't, make us angry or inspire us. I mean, if that's the one thing about this band is we take, the things that happen in our lives every day, and I mean, stuff like that is relevant. It happens. So, like I said, we by no means are we trying to be, political, but at the same time, that was our chant song. That was our song that we want to get the crowd involved in, and we
Yeah,
thought it was
sure.
important that people listen to us, so we should have a message of some kind.
Okay. So
I
you're
think
not
by now,
you're not restricting yourself to what you want, what you think your band should be, to not make waves and not cause trouble. You're just doing whatever comes naturally then.
Exactly. I mean,
yeah,
people wake up every day and they have good days and they have bad days, and the difference with us is that when we have bad days, we write music about it. When we have good days, we write music about it. So I mean, you're gonna
yeah,
get the bad and the good. Once again, that's the whole dynamic of Nephilim. Like there is, we're not just a one-trick pony. We have all different ranges of emotions, and I mean, we have music on our old albums that was some very personal stuff. We have we don't hide from it. We kind of exercise our demons in the music, and you can hear that in our music.
I
Yeah,
mean,
you
when
really
I
can.
sit down to do lyrics, I don't sit down with like I'm gonna write about chicken today, or whatever. I'm not gonna. I'm just, it's just kind of like when they say, oh, we got this riff, and it's just whatever comes to mind. So that's
Right.
like, for example, when we get further down, when we talk about Of Golden Green, wait till I explain that song. Holy crap, it's ridiculous.
All
Yeah.
right. We'll get to that in a moment. I really like that. I don't want to use up all my material on just one song, but
Yeah.
I do have questions on the process, so I think we should go ahead and we should move along to the next song, Life is Calling.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean all I have is the guitarist and the singer here, so I can't ask the drummer any questions. I can't ask the bassist any questions. Not that I really would. They're kind of just the stand-in freaks, so, you know.
Oh, it's beautiful, Jason. Beautiful.
So why don't we play Life is Calling and then come back and ask more about this song. All right. Sorry about that. This is going to be a podcast where we're going to be adding the songs in, and then it will be featuring on our SoundCloud page at Jarcodes or on the Stitcher Smart Radio app or iTunes just by searching Unsigned Countdown Podcast. So "Life Is Calling" was a really great song. That's the one I really grasped onto.
Awesome.
I
Thanks.
I played that one. I mean, I like them all. You know, Brent, you know I've always been in love with your voice.
Well, thank you. I
So
appreciate it.
but this song, I really just liked it. This is the one I played more than everything. So tell me about it. Why did it capture me so much, Brent?
I think this is probably one of the more personal songs in all of the songs. I mean, there's personal aspects in each lyrics, but this one, Mike was going through some stuff in his personal life, and he told me what was going on, and I just is put pen to paper, and I just basically it's about telling about how he's important and how he's no longer going to be this beat dog. He's no longer be a stepping stone in this person's life. And I wanted, Mike was going through a dark place, and I wanted him to know that he's important and he's just as big a part of the music as anyone else, and he's stronger than he thinks he is. So basically, that's what Life is Calling is about.
Yeah, and from a musical standpoint, like we just wanted to write some crazy shit. Like we wanted to write some stuff that like, and it's funny because it's the opener to our set when we play live. And
Yeah.
as I said before, we write songs with the mindset that what's our mosh pit gonna be like? How crazy can we get in this music? And that's why it starts just so heavy and it's so in your face. And at that point, people who've never heard us before, they've never seen us, they have no idea what our band sounds like. So they hear that super fast, verse come in, and then when they hear the chorus kick in and they hear Brent sing, then they get the real idea of what our band really sounds like. And then, we changed it up again at the end. That's the thing, is we wanted to represent, and it's a very short song. It's only 2 minutes 40 seconds or something like that. But we
Right.
wanted to represent every member of Nephilim, and how we play as a band in that very short period of time, and just basically hit them in the face as soon as we start playing. So that's one of the reasons that song was written the way it is, musically anyway.
Nice.
Yeah, for sure.
I love how I gravitated towards more of the Nephilim Showcase song then.
Nice.
Yeah, that makes me happy. And
It's doing its job.
where is it you guys tour then? You're talking a lot about live shows. Where is it that you guys do live shows mostly?
Well, around Fayetteville, Wilmington area, Raleigh area, we're going to start branching out more. We Nephilim has played everywhere from Florida to Alabama. I mean, so we've been fortunate enough to play with a lot of big bands and play across the country. And right now, we're kind of wanting to hit the internet more than anything. So we're playing a show here and there, and previously we would just play a show almost every weekend, and it would burn you out, when you're playing the same 6, 7 clubs or whatever. So now we're just taking a different approach. We're just writing more music, and because the music's going to outlive us, and we're not going to be able to go crazy on stage forever. Our music's not Rolling Stones. We aren't playing Jumpin' Jack Flash. This is like call. So we want to write as much music as we possibly can, and record as much as we possibly can, and push it as hard as we can, because there's a big world out there, and it needs to hear us.
Yeah, it does. But in the same token, with social media and like what you're doing, Jason, like the world is actually shrinking around us. Like, 10 years ago when we started doing this, it was, record deal, this, that, you got to play. And now it's like, I have respect for it, because the kid in his bedroom with 1 million YouTube followers, who's just an amazing vocalist or amazing musician, is, has the same chance as any other band. And that's kind of like Brent said, like, we just want to get out there and have people realize that, we've been putting our heart and souls into this for years and years. And, we just want as many people as possible to hear it, love it or hate it. We just want people to listen to us, give it a chance.
And Josh, what's the goal then?
The goal is to keep writing and to keep expressing ourselves. And, we've done this for so long. I mean, we did this back when, we were touring around, I say touring, but we were going from club to club in a broken down van, like, which is, a lot of bands share that story. But, we never thought that we'd be doing it at this level. in which, we're by no means playing Madison Square Garden, but, I never thought I'd be talking to somebody, in another state on a radio, on a podcast about, why I decided to start playing music. So, I
Okay.
appreciate that. And that, to me, that's the goal, is to keep pushing this, to keep, to get everyone to at least give us a shot and listen to us. And we're not going to stop writing music. We're not going to stop playing music. We're working on our second EP right now. We're just, we're musicians. We love playing music, and we want people to hear it.
Okay. So the goal is more just to keep the fans and get new fans, but you're not
Yeah.
really looking for a record deal or
No,
millions of dollars.
no.
You're living your dream right now. Then.
Exactly. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. If someone wants to hand me $1 million and put me on tour, sure. But like I said, we've all got like families and careers and stuff like that. We do this because we just love the music. We're not out to make a quick dollar. We do this because we're artists and we want to express ourselves. And we all have different emotions, as I've said before. Like Nephilim is a melting pot of 5 different people, and what we go through and how we live our lives, and it's a representation of us. It's an extension of us. So, the more people that get to know us through Nephilim, well, the way I look at it, we just got a lot of new friends out there.
Yep, absolutely.
I
What
got
Josh said.
I just keep thinking that if it's $1 million and you go on tour, but you have to make music that somebody else wants you to make, or you get to do what you're doing and create music the way you want it, I'm betting that you would forego that tour and just keep making music the way you want.
Absolutely. I've been through enough iterations, even of Nephilim and the other bands, to know that, if you don't mesh well and you don't all have a common goal, you're not going to make it, $1 million or not. Like, the music industry likes to create products, and we don't want to be a product. We want to be artists.
Right.
Speak for yourself. You give me $1 million, I'll sing whatever bop,
He's
whatever.
getting internet. He's just playing.
Well, the dude's got 14 side projects as
That's right.
is, so what's
Right.
one more? But that doesn't mean you're going to take that $1 million and change Nephilim. That's what I'm
No,
trying.
it doesn't. This means I'm gonna do a lot of drugs. Is what
I get what you're saying, but I talk to a lot of artists and I ask them that question: would you rather be signed and compromise yourself, or keep doing what you're doing? And almost every one of them says, I would much rather make the music I want and make it myself, because these days you don't need to be signed to make money off of your music.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's making money is just an added bonus to the fact, it's great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that we wouldn't like to, to at least make enough money to keep doing this, but at the same time, we're fortunate enough to be at the stage where we don't do this because we're desperate. We do this because we love to do it. We're not by no means starving artists, but we've been there. We have been that band. We've been the band that, we're playing, 8, 9, 10 gigs in a row, just trying to survive. And if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger, and it only made us stronger because it almost killed us. It really did. And now we get to look back, and we get to take those experiences and turn them into songs that people get to listen to and hopefully, connect with and relate to.
Nice. And so let's move on to Brent's favorite song of Golden Green. Nice. So Brent, you were dying to talk about this song. Why?
It's kind of to me, it's my favorite song on the EP. Well, one of my favorite songs, but it's weird. I had this. This note really happened a lot when I was writing the lyrics for it. I had almost like a movie that came in my mind. So I saw this guy, and he was going through a lot of crap, and his girlfriend broke up with him, whatever, and he lived on this island, and he'd always sit on the edge of the island on the shore, and he'd look off in the distance, and he could see the silhouette of another island, and he couldn't see the cities. All he could see that it was real luscious green and shine of gold, and he thought, man, if I could just get there, things would be so much better. So he just says, screw it, and he gets in the water, and he floats his way, and the whole time he's thinking, he's like, I hope the colors are as they seem. I hope the grass is as green as I thought it would be. And then when he gets to the shore of the other island, he pulls himself up on the sand and looks around and sees people just as unhappy as he was. And he looks back over at his old island, and he sees the same silhouette of an island, same green, same gold. It looks just as great as it did as this island did. So I just thought it was a pretty cool idea, and I thought, man, that would be a really good music video if we had enough money. I'd love to do that.
Cough, cough.
I think I'll leave
So
that one.
basically, what Brent's saying is, the whole drug thing. He does a lot of drugs, and
Yes,
the
yes.
grass is not always greener, basically, But yeah, we've all been. Who hasn't been there, right? Especially as
Right.
musicians and as individuals, like, oh, if I could just do this, if I could just get this, and
Yeah.
and another thing about musically, the song, it's it's so dynamic. Once again, it's got that really catchy kind of chorusy sound, and then by the end, it just it goes dark again, and I love that about that song. I love that playing it live. It's you got this sing along part, and you've got this chanty, like, really melodic part, but then by the end, we're all throwing down, and it's just like, see, this is Nephilim once again. This is who we are. Like,
Nice.
Absolutely.
Josh, do you remember where you were when the music was conceived for that?
yes, actually, that was a riff that I came up with when we were writing well, we were in the process of writing our third studio album after Another Day came out, and we had gone through some stuff, and we ended up taking a hiatus. But that was one of the few riffs. And once again, I say riffs because, like I said before, I don't write songs. None of us, we all work together. But that was a riff that I came up with, and we didn't get a chance to really use it back then. So what happened was we took some time off, and we kind of grew up as musicians, and we had life experiences and things happened. And then when we came back, it was such a more powerful song. Like, it evolved, and I definitely remember where I was at, and where I was at when I wrote it, and where I was at when Nephilim turned it into a song were two completely different places, and that's one of the things I really love about being in this band.
And when you play it live, do you just smile and remember that stuff?
Some of it's smiling, some of it's not so. I mean, some of it's not so happy. I love all these guys to death, but we've been through some stuff together. I look at this as a relationship. It's therapeutic to be around these guys because we all know each other so well, and we've been in fights, and we've hated each other, and we loved each other, and this song is kind of a product of both of those times when we hated each other and when we loved each other. So, like, it means a lot to me personally to play it because of all the emotions. It's the gamut, the whole range of emotions that goes into the song when I play it. What you hear, from the pretty sing along kind of chorus to the breakdown at the end, like it goes everywhere,
All right. So it represents the mountain you guys have all climbed together.
basically. And that's exactly why Red Sky Constellation has a mountain on the front of it on the EP because I'm not even going to say we're at the top yet, but it's been a climb.
Yeah. Well, once you're at the top, it's boring, isn't it?
Right, yeah. We just keep climbing. We just kind of, we just find a way to keep climbing.
Nice.
Basically, you just described our entire band and all the struggles we've done as that Miley Cyrus song. It's the
Come on.
climb.
Oh, come on. We have to pay
Oh.
her now because we said her name.
And don't forget Taylor Swift and that swift, sick
Ah,
beat.
No.
wait,
Damn.
we're gonna get sued now, Jason. Thanks.
Oh yeah. Oh no, we're going all over the map. Coming up in a future episode, we actually have a cover of that Bad Blood song because I hate it so much.
Uh,
You know, just
Jason
to
said that. We love you, Taylor Swift. No, I'm just kidding.
just
Taylor,
to take
I
a
love
moment.
you.
I noticed that they played that song and I hated it because the rap was so quiet in the mix. And then I heard it on the radio and they took the rap out and they added something better and I was like, yes, I knew music.
I knew what sounded good, damn it.
So that made me happy. So shout out to Taylor Swift for fixing that song. Thank you. I still hate it though.
Gee, tell us how you
You know,
feel.
it speaks volumes for us that he hates that Taylor Swift song, but he likes our music. So hey, thank you for that, Jason.
I really do. But
Suck it, Taylor Swift.
I like a certain subset of metal. I don't like the black metal, death metal. I like metal, talented metal, I guess you could say. So. And speaking of talented,
That's something else.
let's move on to Red Sky, something that really showcases all of your talent. Oh no.
Oh, Red Sky. Oh, Red Sky.
Oh, Red Sky. Josh, you have an opinion on Red
Well,
Sky?
no, I love the song, but it's funny because when we were doing the EP, we had originally agreed to do a four song.
Yeah.
But we were like, hey, just in case we have time, because we're not rich by any means. There's definitely a dollars to minute type. We're looking at, financially, how do we do this and make it sound as good as possible. And we all decided that we should probably have a fifth song ready. And Red Sky was a song that we had written a long time ago, just a really long time ago, actually back before we took our little hiatus. And we all decided, hey, let's have a fifth song ready to go just in case. And to me, it was always kind of, I don't want to say throwaway song, but it was a song that musically I liked it, but it wasn't my favorite. And then when I heard Brent's lyrics and the way he sang that song, it instantly became my favorite song on the EP. So it just shows you the difference that one individual can make on the band. And here I go blowing up Brent's ego again. But no, but just how much it really matters to have all of the band's input before a song is created.
I love you, Josh.
Well, I love you too, man. No, I'm not even bullshitting you. Like it was a song that I liked. It was a song I didn't love because every band has songs they like and they love, and it was definitely a song I liked, but not a song I loved until we went in the studio and Brent went to go lay down the vocals, and I heard that part. And I got goosebumps, and I was like, oh shit, we were gonna throw this song away. Well, not throw it away, but I was just like, oh my god, and then it became the title track.
Yeah.
So I mean, that just shows you how much things can change when we all get together and put our minds to it.
Those songs surprise you, don't they? When you just tweak those ones and tweak them, eventually they become something.
Yeah, and the thing that I love about it is, you never really know. You never know. You can have an idea of what a song is going to sound like when you write it or when you start jamming it, and then that one little part changes or someone adds one little thing and you go, oh my god, let's go this direction. I like it so much better. And that's exactly what happened when Brent came in and started writing his part of the vocals. And I was just like, oh my god, we have to record this. We have to put it on there. So
Yeah, I just had a completely different take with the song when I first heard it, and I was like, man, this is beautiful music, and Josh was kind of like hesitant about it, Bobby was kind of and I kept trying to push it. I was like, dude, I've got this really cool verse and chorus idea. I just want to try it. And I remember the first time the guys heard it, they were talking about something. Josh and our drummer Brett were talking about something, and Bobby just started playing. I said, just play the bass, the riff. So he started playing the riff, and I started just kind of singing in my part. And I remember like how they were kind of like stopped talking and kind of looked. I was like, okay, cool, we got something there. So fast forward like a few months after, we get in the studio and we're about to go in the studio, and I'm like, if we're going to put the fifth song, let's do this. And of course, Josh, like you just said, he was kind of, I don't know, it's not really my favorite, blah, blah, blah. And I really think this song represents me lyrically more than any other song because I'm 33, and I've been doing this a long time. I've been playing music before I could drink alcohol legally. So like, now I'm and we're Nephilym's been on a hiatus for a while, like Josh said, and it was kind of like a big question mark is if we put this EP out, are people even going to remember who the hell we were, and am I too old to do it, are we too old to do it, and so that's kind of what Red Sky's about. It's like am I as good, or am I what they remembered, or do they even remember me at all?
That self-reflection is a hard thing to do, by the way. I mean, you think about it, to look, because we have a recorded history of a timeline of our lives with these albums, and when we go back and listen to Pandora's Lullaby, our first, studio album that we recorded, in 6 days or 5 days or whatever it was, I think about where I was as a person then, basically a kid, and I look at, it's like a breathing, living timeline of who we are, the adults we became. And like Brent said, at a point you start wondering, it's like, hey, do people care if we're still doing this anymore? Is this going to impact them the way it impacts us? I mean, you have to look at that when you sacrifice what you sacrifice to be musicians. We all have careers and families and things like that. And, it's not easy to get together, every week or every couple of weeks and write. It's not easy to get together and go in the studio. And I mean, it would be easier to say, oh, sorry guys, we're too old for this, or we've done our time. Let's just, let's give up. But we're not. Like, we're not going to. And this song, like Brent said, it was. I didn't even care for the music that much, and Brent turned it into like the most personal songs to represent all of us. It's like, do we matter? And here we are talking to you, and hopefully, all the listeners, can at least relate to that. Here we are. Yeah, we didn't give up. We pushed through it, and we're happy about it. And I do want to say that is Brent singing that high. There is no auto tune. That impressed me as well, because I didn't know he had that in him. See, here we go. We're still evolving. I mean, we're still learning how to do this. We're still changing. So, I mean, I love that.
All right. I love that too. And we're going to keep talking after this, but we're going to wrap up this portion of the podcast. So why don't you guys go ahead and tell me again where you want people to find your music, where they want you to support you?
Well, if you want to support us, I mean, you can go to Amazon, you can go to iTunes, you can buy Red Sky. It's only $5. I mean, okay. I've said this a million times, but if you don't like the music, buy it and burn it anyway, because it makes a great coaster.
Is that a hard copy we're buying, or are we buying digital?
Oh, this is digital. I'm just saying burn it to a CD. But we do have, if you want a hard copy, we do have some. If you go to our Facebook, it's facebook.com/Nephilym Band. You email us. I mean, you'll get one of us. Usually you get me and Josh. Me and Josh respond to everybody. We all do. Everybody's a part of it. But if you want a physical copy, we'll be more than happy to mail one to you.
Nice. I do.
We have T-shirts. We have stickers. We used to have thongs, but Josh wore them all. So
at the same time. Wearing one right now.
These guys handle thongs like the Blackhawks handle the Stanley Cup. Just pass them on. Awesome.
But yeah.
Okay.
And we're on Twitter as well. I mean, anything that you can think, hey, could a band whore themselves out on, we're on that. So please like us and follow us.
Of course you are. You're here on the Unsigned Countdown podcast.
Whoring myself out, hand job.
The Unsigned Countdown, hand job central.
That's right.
Cool. All right. Thanks, guys, for joining me.
No problem. Thanks for having us.
I really appreciate it, man.
Cool.
Thanks to everybody that listened to it or is listening to it, and hopefully check us out. I hope you like it, but even if you don't like it, thanks for at least checking it out.
Totally. What a sweetheart you are.
Oh, you have no idea.
You can find Josh on Tinder and Grindr, ladies and gentlemen.
Shit, now I have to make another Grindr. Thanks.
That's hilarious. So where did you guys get this production done then?
2 different places. All the music except for the drums, so guitar and bass, was recorded with Jamie King at the Basement. Jamie King is probably the premier producer in North Carolina. He recorded everybody from, like, he just did the new Between the Buried and Me. Super awesome guy. He's ridiculous. He plays drums in a band called Swift too. That's a band you definitely need to check out. You and yourself and all your listeners need to listen to a song called The Guatemalan. The Guatemalan's awesome. Release the Wolves. So you check this out. And then we did the drums and all the vocals at Bright Light Recordings in Fayetteville. John and Josh Ray. So as a brother, 2 brothers that opened this thing, and it literally is in this little barn, and they're fantastic. I mean, they're probably my favorite place to record in North Carolina, hands down.
Yeah, both of those studios, man. Like, the thing about it is they're just the most, like Jamie King and like the Ray brothers. They're just the most down to earth dudes. You go in there and you're thinking, this is business recording, and then by the end of the day, you're just laughing, and they're just the coolest people, and their products are amazing. So I absolutely check them out.
Yeah. That's awesome.
For the money, I mean, if you want to go and do the very best album that you can do, then Jamie King is the place to go. If you are balling on a budget, and then go to the bright light. And both of which are going to give you the best recordings. They are my favorite places to record in North Carolina. Both those places.
Okay. And for my listeners, I'm talking to Josh and Brent of Nephilim, and I'm just trying to get some advice because I think we've moved on to a new part of the show, and that would just be the advice. What kind of advice would you give somebody, Brent, if they want to go in the studio? What's the one thing they need to know so they don't waste their time?
Be prepared. Have your if lyrically, vocally, have your lyrics done. Practice and practice and practice. What we did is we do pre-production before you go in and you put any money in someone's pocket. Record even a cell phone recording of your songs and listen to them thousands of times or hundreds of times. The thing that I really like doing is I like the guys to record the music, and then I'll go home and I might have a set lyrics that I been practicing 3, 4, 5 times at this in practice spot, and all right, cool. I think I can do better. Well, I'll write like 3 or 4 versions of a song. I always push yourself. Don't just settle because you're done. Don't be lazy with it. But definitely, if you're going in to record, be prepared. Have your stuff there. Be on time. Be polite. Don't rush the people because they ultimately have your music in their hands, and they can make you sound even worse than you already do.
Good advice. Josh, what was the one thing that when you went in the studio you just didn't expect?
Well, when I was recording, because like Brent said, we tracked guitars with Jamie, and just how amazing and how talented that guy is. And he's a producer first and foremost, so he doesn't just hit the record button and set up the microphones. He helps you come up with ideas, and he helps you say, hey, try it this way, or hey, why don't you try this harmony? I mean, he will help you. He will help you write an album. I mean, he really, because his name's on that too, and that's what I really, really appreciated about Jamie is that, I had no preconceived notions of how he was. I didn't know what kind of guy I was going to be. You're always nervous when you're going in there, and we're a band of 5 morons that, tell dick and fart jokes all day, and then we go in the studio and we're like, hey, we got to be professional now. This is our job. And then you get in there and he's just as cool and just goofing off, and then he's like, hey, give this a shot and try this harmony. Like Brent said, plan everything out, and we did plan everything out. But he had extra ideas, and we were like, oh yeah, that's great. So that was one of the things that surprised me the most is just how down to earth Jamie King really is, and how much he cares about your recording and your sound.
Yeah, because ultimately your sound, it reflects on him. If you come out sounding like crap, then that makes him look bad. So I mean, and if it's definitely advice for people that are just going in the studio for the first time. Don't be so married to an idea that you get insulted by someone else's idea. Like Jamie, we've never met Jamie before. We just knew Jamie was the guy to go to. We drove 5.5 hours to Winston-Salem to record with this guy we never met, and he's out the gate telling you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to change that, and you do it. You take in consideration. You definitely want to stick to your guns, and you don't want him to change a person to change the song at its core. But if a man, like for me, I had no idea about harmonies really, and Jamie's like, try this, try that here, try. So find a good. If the guy, it's always good to have a producer that, because you have an outside set of ears that's not married to this song like the 5 of you are.
Right.
Yep. You have to realize that they're hearing those songs for the first time, the songs that you've been playing for months, days, years, whatever. They're hearing it for the first time. And like Brent said, they're going to say, hey, I hear this. This sounds great. But, I mean, like you said, like Brent said, be open to change. And that's going to get you very far. Because like we said, they have, your album, your music is, it's a mutual effort. So they definitely want it to sound good. No self-respecting or respected record producer or engineer is going to let you just release crap because their name's on it too. That's their business. So
Right.
you got to have that in mind that, like Brent said, don't be married to an idea. If someone, at least give it a shot, be willing to accept some criticism, some constructive criticism, because you're going to get it. Like I don't care what band you're in, when you go in the studio, you're going to have to listen to some criticism or change something here and there. It's just the way the industry works.
Right. Okay. I love that. That's great advice. Let's move on to some gear. Josh, what are you using on tour? What kind of guitars? What kind of amps? What do you love? What kind of pedals?
Well, I actually used to have the whole half stack, the Mesa rectifier cabinet, and I had a 290 power amp set up with Pod XT Pro and all this stuff. And it was getting to the point where it's just too much stuff. We don't have roadies. We're not that kind of band, man. We don't have. I mean, we have friends that help us, but we don't have a road crew. So now I got rid of all that stuff, and I just have a 1995 PV 5150 212 combo, and man, that thing is loud, and
God, it's awesome.
I love that thing, man. That's my amp. I play ESP guitars. I have a Stephen Carpenter Signature Series 6-string, which they don't make anymore. I love it. It's got lace sensor pickups in it. I've got a VC400 with it's a JB and a 59 Seymour Duncans in it. I don't play EMGs. I don't like active pickups. Those are my guitars and my amp. And then as far as pedals, I just have a noise compressor and a tuner. I don't really do a lot of crazy effects. I usually just do 2 channels, clean and dirty, and that's the way I like it.
That's fucking awesome. We have a lot of music geeks. That's why I ask, because a lot of them just love to talk equipment.
Oh yeah, B and Bobby, the bass player, and we'll just talk about it for hours and hours. But
I love that.
I'm a huge fan of the 5150, man. That's what you hear on the Red Sky Constellation. It's actually a 6505 plus with it was a Marshall 1960 cab that was recorded in that. I didn't use my amp. I didn't have it at the time, but I mean that 5150 sounds almost exactly like that recording does live. So that's one thing we really pride ourselves on is when we go in the studio, we don't want to sound like a different band. Like we don't want to sound like, oh, that CD sounds great, but you got $20 guitars and $50 amps. Like we wanted our gear to sound like it does on the recording. So that's what we try to get.
I love that.
Oh, what do I play? Okay, thanks for asking.
I was going to get to that, Brent.
Yeah,
so what
sure.
kind of pencil do you use when you're writing the lyrics?
I play acoustic guitar in the band. Thank you very much.
Wireless. Say it again.
I play acoustic guitar in the band. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I play Alvarez.
No, Brent. Thank you.
No, you're welcome.
Thank you. I couldn't live without that acoustic guitar.
I love it, man. I love it. It's just the heart and soul of the band.
So what is it? What are you playing then?
Alvarez. I play an Alvarez. I played the same Alvarez since the very first Nephilim album. We always do at least, we didn't do it on this EP, but we always do at least one acoustic song. It's kind of what we do. And so I'm playing the exact same guitar since, and I'll never get rid of it. And then, of course, I'd use Shure for wireless mics and stuff like that.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about mics. You just threw that right in there. Sure?
Yeah, Shure.
Okay. Just Shure.
Sure. Yeah, that's the brand. I forget the model because I've had it for so many years. It's probably time for a new Shure, but yeah, that's it, man. Those 2 things.
That's beautiful.
I wish I didn't say anything.
Well, you get a lot out of that microphone then.
I do. You're welcome. And once again,
thank you, Brent.
Don't let Brent fool you though with the acoustic thing. He plays electric guitar too, and if he plays some of the stuff he helps write. I mean, obviously the Drayton Road stuff he wrote a lot of. Like
who's that?
Comes to practice with. He comes to practice with some ideas in his head too. Like that dude is all around just a virtuoso, honestly. Like we don't give him enough credit. Honestly, I don't think, but I mean, the dude plays acoustic, he sings, he screams, he can play guitar. I mean, he's played drums at band practice before. He's played drums. The dude. I mean, I'm proud to be in a band with Brent.
Yeah, he doesn't give himself enough credit, so
yeah.
he should.
He should.
Well, if you want to completely piss on everything Josh just said about me, you should hear the rough recording we did where we're writing music and our drummer wasn't there that day, so I'm playing drums and singing at the same time. You could definitely tell how white I am when I'm doing that.
But that all goes back to that pre-production, man. We record everything that we can, and even if it sounds like shit, we get something out of it. But
I never said it sounded like shit. Thanks a lot, Josh, for telling me how you feel.
Yeah, we know.
Well, getting back to production a little. Brent? Do you sound like that live?
I hope so. I mean,
Because to me, it sounds like he's got something really nice on your voice, but
Nope.
like a
That,
compression or something
nope.
just to keep you even.
That's why I made sure to mention to you earlier that he's hitting those notes. That is what that guy sounds like. I'm telling you, it's crazy.
That's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
thank you. I don't like putting a lot of stuff on my, just like what Josh says. I mean, if I can't duplicate it live, then why the hell do it? I mean, it's this cheating the listener, you know. I mean, I'm not going to put out this awesome. You know, I mean, I'll do harmonies that I can't do live, obviously, because I'm not superhuman by no means. But I mean, that other than that, I really don't do a lot of effects at all on vocals. It's just push record and
I bet you right now, if this guy, and I'm not going to put him on the spot, but if he sang to you right now on this podcast, it would sound like it does on our album.
like shit.
Nice.
You're right.
Right.
Brent, why don't you do a little of tacos for us right now?
Please don't.
La, la, la,
Here's the deal. Just sing something right now, and you'll hear what I'm talking about. Putting you on the
What do you
spot.
want me to say? Okay.
I don't know. You're a singer. Sing.
Okay. The blind even see you're beautiful. Put your arms around me. There you go. You're welcome.
That's beautiful.
That's Brent's
Probably,
voice.
if probably clipped all out, all the listeners just like the whole time.
Oh, on my end it did.
Nice. Great.
No, it whoa, it sounded great. And then do you guys, I don't want to put you guys on the spot. If you don't know, you don't know. What kind of like bass, drums? I wanted to get into that equipment too. But if you don't know, just let me know.
Well, Brett plays a Spawn set. Actually, the cool thing about Brett's set is, are you familiar with a band called He Is Legend?
Yeah.
He
Actually, I've heard them.
Yeah. Well, if you look at I believe it was the I Am Hollywood music video they had. He bought the drum set from because they're from Wilmington, they're right down the street from us. So he bought the drum set from him because he was getting a new set. And but yeah, he's got that whole set. I think he plays. Is it Zildjian cymbals? Josh?
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the noise. And Bobby didn't he have a thumb bass now?
Oh my God, no! He's gonna kill you.
I know.
He plays an old Rickenbacker, right?
And he's got a Music Man.
Yeah, he was real big in Warwick for a while, but he's got some Music Man now, and his whole rig, he is super elaborate. I couldn't even begin to tell you what he has.
Yeah, he's got a Stingray. He's got a Music Man Stingray 5-string right now, but he's played everything from like 7 strings. Like he is just that dude's incredible. Like just the way he plays bass, man. He's not that bass player that's like, hey, I'm gonna go play the root note. Let's jam out. That dude is amazing.
Nice.
If there's anything when we go to writing, that's the most aggravating at times is Bobby will say that's too simple to play or it's not fun. You know? So he's the one that pushes us musically out of everybody.
That's interesting.
Yeah, he is the most musically talented in the band by far because I mean he can play anything.
Keyboard, guitar, bass,
trumpet. The dude can play anything.
Yeah.
Wow, why didn't we have him on the show?
Because
he's saving people's lives and working his job right now. He's got a very important job. He couldn't get off, so he wanted to be here, but
Oh, Brett, we love you.
You're just stuck with us too. Sorry.
Stuck. Well, awesome. It's been really great talking to you guys here on the Unsigned Countdown podcast.
I like how you just naturally and you weaved the podcast name in there. That was pretty.
Hey,
it didn't seem whatsoever.
What do you mean the Unsigned Countdown podcast? I love saying it.
What was it called again? I'm sorry.
The Unsigned Countdown podcast.
Remember that name, ladies and gentlemen.
We're talking with Josh and Brent here on the Unsigned Countdown podcast. They're from Nephilym.
Yes.
You guys are from North Carolina, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
Both of you?
Yes.
Born and raised.
Born and raised.
Nice.
My cousin is my mom, if that's what your next question.
That is not a thing. Stop.
I knew where you're going with this, okay? Just because you hear an accent doesn't mean. It does, actually.
Nah, I don't hear an accent.
Oh, awesome.
Really? What the fuck are you talking to? You are not
Why
talking
don't
the same.
why is it you don't have an accent then, Josh?
I don't know.
Because he's from the big city, right, Josh? They used
Yeah.
to make fun of me. I really am from a small town, like of really one stoplight,
I
and
know you
that
brag about that all the time.
for real though, for real. And that was like a new development. Like maybe 15 years ago, it was a caution light, no joke. So when I first joined Nephilim, I mean, and we're literally talking about my city, this small town I'm from, and where he's from, or where he used to live, is like 35 minutes apart. So it's not like an hour and a half, 2 hour drive, you know. And they used to make fun of me, all the redneck. But I was like, you live down the street, you son of a.
Hey, that 30 minutes makes a big difference, man.
It does.
Apparently. It's just kind of ironic that the singer's the one with the accent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you can't tell when I'm singing, that's good. That's all
I
that
can't.
matters to me.
Not at all.
Good.
You surprise me when you talk because your voice is so smooth, and then you know.
And I sound like an asshole, a dumbass.
It's like
Thanks
when you hear those bands that are like Swedish or Australian or something, and they're just up there killing it, and then they start talking between songs, and you're like, "What the fuck? Wait, where are you from?" That's Brent, and I love it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've insulted a lot of bands from a lot of countries by saying I can't even tell that you're from that country. You have no accent. I don't know why, but it offends them.
Oh man, it doesn't. You
Proud
know,
of you.
we are from North Carolina. We are not offended by that shit.
No, it doesn't matter. You got quality music.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thanks for joining me. Again, if you want to go buy the album, go buy it on iTunes. We're going to put the links in the description portion of this podcast, and we might even manage to add them to the description portion of this YouTube video once it uploads. So thanks for listening, everybody, to the Unsigned Countdown podcast. They're Nephilim, that's Josh, that's Brent, and we just had the greatest time of our lives.
Thanks a lot for having us.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it.
No problem. Is there anything else you guys wanted to add before I hit unrecord?
Now, just shout out to Bobby and Brett and Mike. You know, they couldn't be here. They wanted to be here. You know, and I hope we don't sound like idiots, but we probably do. So sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's cool. Don't worry about it. You did good.